All right. Yeah, I know. Okay, now we're recording. So welcome to the December 2020 meeting, the last meeting of 2020. And as always, I wish to welcome everyone here, both club members and guests. We've got some special guests here tonight. So that's awesome. We'd like to see that. I'm just gonna share my screen here. And all right, you should see a PowerPoint slideshow, the logo now, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let's get started. Lots of stuff tonight. So we have the agenda, the normal stuff. Yeah, welcome everyone. The normal Zoom etiquette, you guys are getting really good at it. Feel free to work away, multitask, but if you're making some noise or you don't feel like talking, just put that screen on mute if there's a background. If it gets really bad, I might mute you, but normally you guys are good, so that's awesome. Okay, club business. And so we did donate to two organizations here locally. We donated to the Holy Roller Fund and we donated to 427 Wing in London. Both organizations have found it extremely challenging this year with COVID and stuff like that. So the club decided we donated $50 to each organization. So Jerry took care of that, and yeah, we voted on it. We thought it was a very good idea for our support. We certainly have the funds for that. So we decided to go ahead and do that. If anyone has any questions, feel free to speak up. Moving on, before I get to the local store report, just COVID update, pretty well nothing much has changed. The library still remains unavailable, especially now that we're in code red. We might be going into code gray, you never know. Basically, when they can reopen, we will let you know when it's the time that we can safely gather, and we'll go from there. I have heard the rate for the room might be going up slightly. They've actually simplified, putting on my library board hat, they've actually simplified the rental structure. So the rate for the room might go up like 20 bucks a meeting. It's nothing we can't handle. Local store report, all sorts of goodies. As people who follow the Facebook page know, Neo Tokyo he got in his big Mr. Hobby CSI order. And some of the vultures were down there, myself included, first day to pick up some supplies. So he got quite a bit of Mr. Hobby leveling thinner. He also got the aqueous thinner, the regular Mr. Color thinner, and a lot of the Mr. Color paints and some of the aqueous. He always mentions, sorry, say again?
Did he have rapid thinner?
That's the one thing he didn't get.
Okay.
Yes, the one thing he didn't get, I know he mentioned that. He is going to be putting another order in. I believe it's fairly soon. So if you do want to have him hold one, go ahead, give him a ring.
Okay,
Just mention you're with the club. He's really good about that. And don't forget, he does offer a 10% discount if you have your IPMS London card with you. So he's a very good friend of the club. They also got some, he got some 6 mil, like 6 mil, like I call it Tamiya tape, but the rice tape. He's also got a bunch of, got a couple of airbrushes, bunch of other sanding pads, stuff like that. So a big assortment of things. So you can definitely check that out. And then I also got an email. I'm trying to remember who it was from now. It was from one of our regulars. Name's escaping me now. But anyway, they said apparently AV, and someone can remind me, AVF Hobbies apparently is going to be getting in, or at least looking into getting in, a Revell Germany paint rack. That's big bucks. It's about 1,800 right out of the gate. But Revell Germany paint, for those of you who haven't followed the podcast or whatever, it's now available in North America. They have both a enamel line, which actually Humbro makes for them. I don't know if if they change anything, but they do have an enamel line. And they also have an acrylic line in these funky little square boxes. So I'm looking forward to checking those out. I always like when new paints come in. No word of a date yet, and then nothing like that. Yeah, so that'll be coming in soon. So we have a few more people joining us here. So yeah, so that's what's happening there. Other than that, just yeah, try and continue to support your local stores. Does anyone else have anything else other than the uh, AVF announcement and the Neo Tokyo announcement? Anyone else have any news, rumors, whatever? No? Okay, the other thing is I can safely report for those of you who didn't get your IPMS Canada magazine, the electronic archive that was sold out, it is now back available at the IPMS Canada website. When I last checked, I think they had about 60 or 70 in. So yeah, great resource. It's a little USB key that has all the old issues of IPMS Canada. So definitely check that out. We also sent our report into IPMS Canada as we're required to do. We actually had a slight increase of members who are obviously, and members who are IPMS members. And of course, that's the one file I didn't load on my machine. So give me 1 second here and I will load that. And I can give you all the fun numbers for those who are interested. All right, so let's see here. So yes, we had, shrink that, move that. So we have right now 55 members. Of those, 14 are IPMS Canada members. Just a reminder, if you've recently in the last couple of months taken out an IPMS Canada membership, please send us an email. You can email Jeff or the IPMS exec, or just let us know somehow so we can keep track of that. Other than that, yeah, we are still not charging dues this year for members that paid dues for 2020 originally back January, February. We are extending your membership until we're back to meeting again. And we are just, anyone who wants to join right now can join for free. And hopefully we'll see some people back once we're able to meet in person. So that's what's happening there. What else? Okay. Does anyone else have any other items for the local area or club related things anyone wants to talk about while we're here? I hear.
Yeah, Windsor Hobbies is up for sale.
Windsor Hobbies is up for sale. Is he retiring?
Apparently him and his wife are retiring, yeah.
Okay. I wonder what the
other day, so.
Okay. Well, he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Any talk about anyone taking it over, or?
I haven't heard anything.
Haven't heard anything?
No, I just seen the message there, so.
All right, because there's not really much else down there, is there?
No, there's another hobby shop, but they specialize in RC cars. They don't really do models.
So. Right. Okay, well, again, we wish them a good retirement. Yeah. Definitely. It's a good thing to do. All righty. Anything else from the executive, either Jeff or Bill, since you're both here? Nope. Nothing from Bill, nothing from Jeff.
Nope.
All right, so we'll move on. So we are really pleased as punch to welcome a surprise guest. He is a member. He's a lifetime honorary member of the club, and that is Peter Hill, who you see there all the way from Ottawa. He is waving. He's nice enough to join us tonight. Peter, how are you tonight, sir?
Absolutely wonderful.
Good. And for those who don't know, Peter's actually Mike Hill's dad. So Mike's being on his best behavior, I see.
He's doing pretty well.
Good. Well, Peter, we just want to say, on behalf of the club, we're really pleased as punch that you can join us tonight, and watching you progress back into the hobby. And, I love hearing about all the support you're getting and just the enthusiasm. Like when Mike posts the pictures you send him on our Facebook page with your latest build, you're just knocking them out of the park, both in quality and in quantity. So it's really neat to see, and you're a real inspiration. So yeah, so maybe if you have a few minutes, can you kind of tell us, what you were in the hobby originally, and you've led a very interesting life. So the floor is yours, sir.
Interesting life. Yes. I've forgotten what the heck I was going to say, but education. I originally did physics in the UK. You might get the accent a bit. And then I went into the army to do my national service, as we had to do in those days. back in 1950 and did my national service in the Far East, mainly in Korea. And but in that time, I decided I didn't want my life to be in physics, and I didn't want to stay in the army. So I went in the papers. You got when you demobbed, it said if you didn't know what to do, go to this Careers Advice Bureau. So I went there, and they did tests and essays and whatever, and they said you should be an accountant. I thought, God, I've just come back from 18 years of killing people, and accountants are wimps. They said no. It's a growing profession, and that's the sort of mind you got, the right side, the left side. And so I became an accountant, and the first name on the list, they gave me a list of people to go for interviews, and the first name was George Huddleston, who was the chief cost accountant for the General Electric Company in the UK, quite separate from GE in North America. And so we sat talking. He said, well, I don't hire people. What are you doing? I said, I'm on demob leave from the army. He said, who were you with? And I think he sought Paycor or something like that. And I said, no, I was artillery, the gunners, first battery, the Blazers. And he says, by God, I was with them in 1917. We sat and told lies to each other. And then he said, okay, can you start on Monday? Not a discussion of the job or salary or anything, but
Nice.
God, I got a job. So, and they gave me a day off a week to go back to college and become an accountant. So that was my background. Then we decided to come to Canada, and by that time I met my darling wife, Wynne, and we'd got 2 children, and we needed a new house, and we needed a new car. And we said, to hell with it, let's go join some of Wynne's family who were already in Canada, which we did. And I applied for a job at Collins Radio in Toronto. And Collins were high tech communications. And I did aptitude tests, and then got to meet the president of the director of engineering, who said, I don't know what you're going to do, but we're going to find you useful. I spent the next 15 years with Collins, and this was just after the debacle of cutting the God, what was the name of the aircraft?
The Arrow?
The Arrow.
Yes.
Program. You got to forgive me. My memory isn't what it used to be.
That's all right. You're looking good at your age. You're looking much better than I think I'll be at your age.
So we did, Collins did the communication systems for the F-104.
Okay.
The CF-104, and well, of course, most of the Americans didn't buy any 104s, but sold around the world, and Germany, Italy, and Holland, Japan. Some had contracts to build under license the communication boxes, and so that was a good start. We went on in other programs, some of it like stuff we don't do today, make microwave communications. It's all this is now obsolete stuff. And then we later, Collins Corporate got the contracts to do all the electronics on the F-15. With there's other ones in between, but the big one was F-15.
Wow.
And so we, amongst other things, we did the ADF, UHF ADF direction finder, so they could get contact with a tanker, because you take off, refuel, then do a job, refuel, come back. And, so that was the background. Then most of this was Canadian government stuff, a lot of US government too. Communication systems for the air control in Vietnam. We did, and but then I was working with the government, and the government made me Canadian government made me an offer I couldn't refuse, to jump the fence and be a buyer instead of a seller. And so that was mainly first year was in purgatory doing anti-submarine warfare stuff. Who the hell knows anything about anti-submarine warfare? So, you know, sonobuoys and
Right.
but then I got a promotion into radar section and worked on radar programs for the military air traffic control system across Canada, around from God, names go Green Bank, Trenton, Bagotville, Moose Jaw, Comox. So numbers I can think of, names I can think of, and from there I went on to be the contracts management for the Transport Canada Radar Modernization Program, RAMP, which again this is going back. That's all now obsolete, that stuff. And from there, my DG came in one day and said, "Boy, have I got a challenge for you." That was the Reagan-Mulroney Summit back in '86. They signed on for the modernization of North American air defense, in which Canada, the main parts was Canada took over the Dew line. The Americans had built it back in the 50s and managed it until then. And we were going to take it over, modernize it, because needed modernization because of the incoming cruise missiles, which instead of low lumbering bears that they could pick up, these little things flying on the nap of the ground and with radar suppression all over them, challenging targets. So I became the procurement manager for that for Canada, which the Americans supplied the equipment, but state-of-the-art surveillance stuff. And we put them across the Arctic and modernized it. And eventually, where they used to have in the tube type Raytheon equipment back in the 50s, they had hundreds of people on the site. We cut that down to 4 or 5, and everything was controlled remotely from North Base with a satellite system.
Right.
Interesting stuff to be involved with. So I've had aircraft from the ground control, and in there was, of course, navigation systems and that. So that was my work background. Modeling, my modeling aircraft was back in the 30s and 40s, carving models out of balsa wood and sanding them down and painting and getting fitting. So it was quite different when Michael got to an age where he was always doing things. He's always been wanted to make things and do things. Proud of the lad. And I think I assisted him in doing plastic models, but he got far beyond me in what he was doing. He didn't need help. He could teach me. So that's my background in models. Awesome. And this recently where I had Win and I live in a seniors residence. It's independent living. We don't need much medical aid, and we in about a 900 square foot apartment. So there isn't a lot of room. 1 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, because I could never share a bathroom with a woman.
Thank you, Paul.
I think we heard someone
in the background, and under Dan. So it's
just remember, she knows where you sleep.
So we don't have a lot of room here. and light is bad. We face south, and so there's pretty good light mostly right by the windows, so we can work. But the light, like this weather where the short days, there isn't a lot of light, and even though I've got the table light, it doesn't give a lot. I don't have a lot of working hours.
Mhm.
And also that just right now, just trying to get over Christmas is taking a lot of time.
Yep. So let me
So-
ask you, what do you think your favorite model kit you've built so far is?
There were two. One was the helicopter. God, what's the helicopter? The Air Sea Rex,
Oh, the Sea King.
Sea King. Thank you. Yeah, the
Yes.
Sea King, or another one. Oh, de Havilland. Two double.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Which one was that, Mike? Do you remember?
The vampire he built for the RCF pilot.
Oh yeah, that was another favorite one of mine.
Right.
I don't know if you know this story, but a fellow resident in here, McEwen, Wes McEwen, was a light colonel, RCAF fighter pilot, and he got dementia, and he moved out. He was moved out. He and his wife were in here, but she had to move him over to an adjacent building
Mhm.
with a dementia floor. And poor Wes was losing his mind. And in his belongings, she found two vampire model kits. And she gave them to me because she'd heard I was doing these models. And she'd got his logbook. And I did that and some other research with, I can't remember the squadron number. Squadron, and the number he flew 86. And I did those in the colors of a plane he'd flown.
Wonderful.
The most from his logbook. I gave them to his wife, and she took them over to him, and he looked at it and said, "That's my plane." And he was the most talkative he had been for some time. And
Excellent.
until even the doctor came in and he had to explain this was his vampire and the characteristics of the vampire. She said it was just wonderful to hear him talking. So
Very cool.
that's, I guess, one of the most memorable. And the other, the Twin Otter, which I, in the Arctic, I did a lot of, because taking over this modernization, the Dew line, I don't think any of us had ever been above north of 60. And so what is the north like? We had to go out there and see what's going on these radar sites at the top of the world, and what are we going to do about it? And we're under a severe pressure of time to do this. So we did lots of miles in Twin Otters, going between sites in some remote places in Canada. I can't even remember. So the Twin Otter, and I'm sorry, I couldn't get colors of it they were First Air. The contractor for the air support was First Air.
Mhm.
And couldn't get any First Air colors, so I put it in an RCF color. So
Wonderful.
those are the ones I remember. But lots of others have given me great interest, and I like to think that over the year that my skill levels have improved, but nowhere near the level of Michael's, of which I've got a few of his models around here. So it's been an enjoyable year and a great learning experience, and a wonder to the people in here, especially the staff. And one of the side stories, just around the corner from us here is Bill's Hobby Shop in Ottawa.
Mhm.
Is literally 5 minutes away, and a lot of people from around the world have got called Bill's Hobby Shop, and he comes around and delivers models to me. So the receptionist here knows Bill.
That's wonderful. Well, as I said, you've inspired a lot of people. And it's just fabulous. And we love that Mike has been sharing it with us. And, we love the work he does as well, but we're really proud to have you on board with us.
Well, it's a great honor for me. And I say this year has been a humbling experience.
Well, I think it's been humbling for all of us, but it's really, really good to see. Now I'm going to put Mike on the spot. And I'm gonna ask Mike from when he was a wee lad. What were some of the kits you and your dad built when you were a wee lad?
I
You
don't
remember any of
actually
them?
remember building kits together. My earliest memory is sitting with Dad at his workbench when he was moving from tube technology into solid state. He
Mhm.
bought some Heathkit kits. I don't know how many of you guys know that
I
name.
know them. Yep.
Oh,
And he was sitting there working on those, soldering away, and I'd be working on a model. And I guess, as the trade is, he enjoyed putting his hands to work and making things, and it just, except for my brother, followed down the pipeline. And as you guys know, I don't have a very high production rate, but I thoroughly enjoy it.
That's what it's
Many
all about.
aspects of this hobby, meeting people, learning history, the design of the aircraft, and some of the books I've been able to purchase recently even go into the background of the people that were in the factories building them. Not so much now, but obviously through the war, the shifts they had to work, the siren would go off, they'd run out to the split trenches. Some places that's all they had.
Mhm.
Get the all clear, have a cup of tea, British, back inside and start pounding away again for umpteen hours. And I
Exactly.
think on a regular basis, it was maybe Dad can help me, or they're working 6 days a week, I believe.
When
Through the war, the munitions and aircraft manufacturers, the shifts,
yeah,
Yeah.
so they were pretty run out after a few months, and that went on for obviously years.
Well, again, nope. Like I say, just fabulous. So, Peter, as I've said before we got started, you're welcome to join us anytime. You're a full-on member of the club.
Yeah.
So, any time, and if Mike starts misbehaving, we'll be sure to let you know.
we will know
Yes,
because
parents do.
his mother always knows.
Yes, it's
What have
true.
you been up to now?
I know. Yeah, typical. I know. They're all the same. Okay,
But
so
I know you guys, I just wanted to finish by
Yep.
saying that I know you guys don't see a lot of the comments that come in from my post, but my father and I are just blown away with the response around the world.
Yep.
How he's brought others into the hobby. A lot of people were sitting in the background not doing anything. They started building again. I don't have a solid record, but I know the fellow from Chile sent him some stuff throughout the States, Canada, England. Uh, just absolutely amazing.
All around the world.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. And that's the way it should be. And I've said it before, it's about the only good thing about this pandemic is we have the ability to really now get together even more with people all around the world. I attended an IPMS meeting in Ireland a couple of months ago with the lads there, and yeah, it's really good to see that we can attend different meetings. And we sometimes have a guy here from Australia who's in Australia joins us as well, and yeah, just absolutely amazing. Well, once again, Peter, thank you very much. And we're going to get on to now what's called on the tables. And I know at some point we've got one of your kits there, so we'll just get that started. Let me just share the screen again, and we'll get things started. Lots of stuff again, which is awesome. And go share. All right, you should also, do you see on the tables now there, Jeff? Or whoever, everyone
Yeah.
sees it? Okay, so we'll just get started then. So if you're here, just go ahead and speak up. So George, I know you're here. I just took your comments, but I'll let you just go right into it. And you're muted, George. Sorry, mate. There you go.
How's that?
That's much better.
Okay. Evening, everybody. And Peter, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. That was, to say the least, a very interesting history you laid on us. Thanks a lot. This is Airfix's 172 Wildcat F4. Great little kit. Lots of detail. Went together really well. The landing gear was a bit of a trouble as I put it together wrong the first time. So thank goodness the glue hadn't set 100%. I was able to take it apart and do it the right way. I used the Airfix decals with this. This plane is depicting one flown by Marion Carl in Guadalcanal in 1942. He was among the first pilots engaged in the first dogfights over Guadalcanal with the Japanese. He became the Marine Corps' first ace in World War II, and he eventually ran his tally up to 18 victories over the Japanese. He survived the war. He went on to become a brigadier general and died in 1990 something. So he had quite a history. He was also a test pilot too with the US. For the plane itself, knowing it had been in the Pacific and on Guadalcanal, I thought it's probably really weathered, and the photographs I could find of the airplane showed that as well. So I appreciated it with a lot of different shades of blues and grays, just building up a real patchwork of color. And then I sprayed the main color to the airplane. I went over it with oil paint, something I read on the internet, just literally taking oil paints in grays and blues and brushing them into panels, and then just brushing and brushing until you got just the right color or thickness to the panel. So it put some specific tones to different panels, which I kind of like the look of when it was done. I added some spark plug wires to the engine. Of course, you can't see them. They're buried back in there. I used stretch sprue to build the antennas that run across the back of the airplane. And then I just gave it a matte finish to dull down the whole thing. So other than that, a quick build, but most of the time spent on the painting, of course, as everybody knows. You can flip to the next one there.
Looks great. I just have to say, George, when you first sent me this picture, I thought for sure it was 148. I love the weathering you've done there.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, so the next one, this B-25.
Yeah, this is a B-25C, or because it's in RAF, it's a Mitchell II. I got a hold of some Eagle Cal's decal sets, and this for 320 Squadron, which was a Dutch squadron flying out of Belgium through the war. This particular plane was named Flakjoy. If you want to flip to the next picture, or maybe go back one there, Stuart. There, you can see on the side there's a scantily clad pinup girl climbing a stepladder. I have no idea why. And it was called Flakjoy. This plane, as you can tell from the markings on the side, flew 124 missions into Germany and the Rhine during Normandy and afterwards as the push to Germany took place. The squadron was all flown by Dutch Belgians, even though it was an RAF squadron. Because of the number of missions, I thought I'd really weather it up a lot. So again, I used a lot of different tones, appreciating. I used dot filters for the first time. I read about how to do those on the internet and used, yellows, whites, greens, blues as dot filters, and just ran them down the wings and across the fuselage to dirty up the decals and give some different highlights to the plane's cowlings and panels and stuff. I also tried AK Interactive chipping fluid on the propellers and the edges of the cowlings, and used that. And I was pleased with the way those turned out. Although, boy, you got to be careful. You put too much pressure on it or work too much, and it doesn't look realistic anymore. You got to use a really small toothpick and just gently tab it here and there to build up the effect you want.
Yep.
Another first for me was I ordered Edwards masking set for the canopy. I thought with all the glass on this airplane, I thought I'd try it. I was really pleased with this thin masking, all cut to fit the windows. And I did that throughout the whole plane. And I was really pleased with the way that worked. And I'd probably spend the money on it again for a plane with a lot of glass on it. I added some fine wire for brake lines for the main gear, but most of the work was put into the painting, the oil washes, and finally some pastel work around the engine exhausts, and just to kind of dirty up the top of the wing where the crew might have worked. I then finished it off with some stretch sprue for the antennas leading to the tails, and did it all with a matte finish on top of it. Great kit, went together really well. Some nice details inside in the glass. Recommend for anybody that wants to do a 172 Mitchell.
Very nice. Very nice work.
Beautiful.
Okay. I normally say Mr. Hill, but I better say Michael at this point, or else I'll have two of you talking. Okay, so Michael, you sent me a bunch of stuff.
Yes, I've had a very productive month. That is a kit that I started some time ago and meandered away from it, as we all do at times. But it's a Rare Plains vacuum form of a C-54 that I've converted into a North Star. The Merlin engines were gifted to me, as were the four-bladed props. Now, yes, they have the wrong rotation, but they look like props when they're hanging there, so I'm more than happy to have that sitting on my shelf. It's heavily weathered as if it was, well, it did spend some time in Africa working for the UN, doing some odd jobs. The Belgians were flying some of their fighters down to the Congo, I believe it was. They didn't have long range navigation, so these acted as the navigator on a couple of those flights. And some odd things. It also hauled a lot of cargo too, but some odd things. So yeah, you can see it's nicely weathered up a little bit. I've got a few panels as I'm just toying with that again to show age, and around the door as if the door had been damaged by loading and they replaced a bunch of the doors and panels. And it looks the part. J-Bot decals, Tamiya paints, and I'm also getting into using some oils for weathering and some of that. Those two exhaust streets running down the top of the fuselage. That was a great learning experience, because it doesn't matter how steady you hold your hand, you're burning a straight line down a curve. If you move half a millimeter, the tip of the brush is going to move too, which is the one thing I learned. So that is a skill that's going to have to take some time to develop.
Yep. Reminds me of a story. There's a guy at Rolls-Royce. He's the only guy in the world that can do the pinstriping, and they fly him around the world. If a customer wants pinstriping, and he does it all by hand, freehand, and just, yeah, I don't think he drinks much coffee.
Jeez, it's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay, next is your Tempest.
Yes, I'm moving into hairy stick painting, brush painting. And this is my second complete brush painted model after receiving some good coaching and tips. There are still some brush lines in there, but far fewer than there have been in the past. And considering it's over my second time doing it, I'm quite pleased with that. I haven't weathered it at this stage. But I also refer to these as one of my display models. That's why the canopy's blacked out. I'm not going to spend time working on that, just bunging on there and keep moving on. The old frog kit, the decals were obviously shot, so I replaced those. I don't know who they came from, but I had to buy them. As you're looking at that North Star, it's got a beefy undercarriage, white metal, some rods supported here and there. That had the original Frog plastic undercarriage until the one evening when I went to put it down and misjudged and snapped it off. And there again, went, "What the hell with it? It's going to be a thing on a stick."
Looks good.
Not worth spending the time fixing it or making a new one.
All right. This one fascinates me. You've been working on.
Yes, this is the S&M resin kit of the Sparran, which was brought into not production, sorry, to prototype stage, just in case, and it's odd to say it, the more advanced Valiant and Victor and Vulcan didn't pan out, and only 2 of these were built. It actually has, to my eye, very clean lines for something coming out of the 40s and was just sort of thrown into the fire. The Air Ministry went to Shorts and said, "Hey, can you build us something relatively quickly?" And they said, "Yeah, sure." And they put that together in a few years. I've made the actual bomber variant. The same aircraft was used to test the Jerome Junior de Havilland engines in the lower nacelles, and they're much bigger. And again, I almost every month I'm talking about rivet counters. Somebody jumped all over me saying I've made a big mistake. I should have to pick bigger engines on the bottom. And before I could reply, somebody else piped up and said, "There was 2 built. One had the regular engines and one had the bigger ones."
Good for them.
Good
for them. Yeah, I'd never heard of this. It's quite fascinating the way the engine alignment is, and yeah, and I could see where it would make a good test bed. Definitely.
Yes,
Definitely.
easy access to the engines.
Very good. Very good. Okay. All right, Peter, this is your trumpeter Fairy Gannet. Tell us all about it, sir.
It's a plane that I'd heard of way back, but never knew much about it, and I didn't realize what an ungainly looking aircraft it is. And again, I have to follow the instructions, and there's a number of mistakes I made on it, and I'm not going to tell you what they are, but if you know the plane, you could see it. But it was an enjoyable one. Took a lot of getting it. Didn't fit well. A lot of sanding and filing and putting stuff together. But it came out together. The worst part about the kit was there were several suggestions, sets of decals for different aircraft squadrons and users, and I made a real screw up on some of them. So it's a mixture. If anybody ever knew what it was, it's a hybrid.
It's a what if. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It looks no, it looks good. Yes, and it is a very ungainly looking aircraft.
And no appearance of any armor. I didn't do much research on the plane, but it doesn't look as if it was really armored very much. No machine guns or rockets or whatever.
No, all the torpedoes or depth charges in the Bombay.
Yeah. So there was no self-defense.
No,
definitely not. All right.
But we had arrangement 2 inline engines using the 2 propellers.
Yeah, just fascinating the way they were playing around with that. And I like the little comic book character on the back horizontal stabilizer. That's kind of.
I thought that was Cliff Richards.
Yeah, that was well before Cliff Richards.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Peter. Those look great, and just keep them coming. Okay, Mr. Jeff. Jeff was a very busy guy. In addition to co-hosting on the podcast once or twice, he sent me a ton of stuff. In fact, I nearly missed one, Jeff. I'm glad I went back today and checked. I nearly missed the second one you sent me, the Valkyrie, which I think was actually the first, but anyway.
It was the first.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're starting with the second one.
Well, members who have been to these meetings will recognize this. I've been working on this kit for 2 years. in one form or another. It's obviously it's the discovery from movie 2001 from 1968. And I built the kit pretty quickly last year, I think it was, or 2 years ago when it first came out. Then I sort of wanted to I wanted to build an interior for it, and I wanted to light it, and I didn't have an interior set that I liked yet, and I just didn't have lighting. So anyway, a friend of Dave Gertin's came up, an interior Stargazer Models out of the UK, I think it's Rutland, came up with a full resin interior for this thing, including the space pods, and I got that. Dave picked up 2 of them, one for him, one for me, and I've been working on it on and off since. And it really is quite good. And also I've been playing around with a technique called focus stacking, where you set your camera on a tripod and you take a whole series of pictures where each picture, the point that's in focus is a little further down along the model. And this is kind of a perfect example of how you do that. Because if you look closely at this picture, you will see that the back is just as in focus as the front, and it's crystal clear. And then there's a little computer that takes all these pictures and mushes them together, takes the best focus part from each picture, and makes one picture out of all of them. So it's pretty cool. I know that Dave's wife does this a lot, and she does Gertin's wife does this a lot, and she does some wonderful stuff. This is one of my first of a few tries to try and do it, and I'm really quite pleased with it.
Now, just remind everyone, what scale is this one?
The scale is 1/144. The kit is about 3 feet long.
Yeah, it's a monster.
It's a long, narrow kit. It's like building a battleship, what it is.
And here's,
You can see there's the wiring and the lighting that was all those pictures were just test shots. I've been trying to experiment with the lighting to get the light look that I think best matches the film. And this, you can see here, I've got little glue-on strip LEDs, warm ones and cool ones, and then single LEDs as well to give more direct lighting. Playing around with all different approaches to it. A lot of fun. And this is the setup that I used to take that picture. So you can sort of see I've got the black fabric in the background, and I've got another black fabric in the foreground, sort of covering off the stand that it stands on. And it was a lot of fun just playing with it. And I had one single spotlight that I used to get the lighting. I had to get it back far enough so it would capture everything at the same time.
Yeah, it looks great. Like I said, you're gonna have the special effects guys calling you soon from Hollywood.
Not a chance. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. I recommend this kit to anybody who has the space for it and enjoys this topic. For me, it's taking me back to my childhood, so I loved it.
Well, I know Mobius just released a smaller one, 1/350th scale for ones that don't have the room, and I know Brothdale's has one for about 77, and I passed it up, and I'm probably going to regret it, but yeah, beautiful looking, good. Okay, next one's the one I nearly missed.
Yeah, this one, I've shown this at the last meeting or two as works in progress. This is now what I would call finished. As finished as I'm going to make it. And again, this is the Valkyrie VF1 from the Macross series. It's a great little kit by Hasegawa. It's 20+ years old. Not a new kit, but it had great fine panel lines, fit together relatively well, but it's a very complicated build, and it's easy to screw up. You really need to be careful and test fit things and play with it a little bit. And because I really was not familiar with this the Macross universe that this thing came from, I didn't have a lot of the history on color and everything. I just went with the instructions, went with the sheet that came with it. But it's nice. It's a fun little thing. The last thing to go on were the landing gear, and that's always my nemesis. But at least it went on, and it looks pretty good. So there you go. That thing's a 1/72nd scale, and it's probably about 6 inches long.
Well, but between a couple of your modeling buddies, we've got you over on the dark side now.
Yes, I know. You guys are all sticking me into this Japanese sci-fi.
This is
all right,
good.
that's it for me.
All right, Johnny, you're up next with a couple of fabulous looking armor kits.
Yeah, this is my work in progress King Tiger made by Men. I just finished the interior of the turret, and this is looking from top. There will be a transparent top armor when it's finished, so I can still see the interior like this. And I'm not really happy about lots of things during the process because somehow my white color just needs to be sprayed multiple layers to really be white. I spray like 3 to 4 coats until it gets this white.
It's challenging.
Yeah, I didn't have experience with white before. I usually just don't do the interior, so this is a little bit challenging for me. And I'm when I was doing the interior for the chassis, I was using the Tamiya glue, the plastic cement.
Mhm.
After I paint the individual parts, and then there was a problem that the glue will melt the paint. So this time I used CA glue, super glue, after I paint every part, but it's a little harder to use super glue than plastic cement in my opinion, because they are not as fluid. Right?
That's interesting. You'd get
Very
that
careful.
effect.
Yeah.
I find that if you use the Tamiya extra thin, the quick setting stuff, it actually is so hot that it burns through without touching the paint. But if you use the regular Tamiya extra thin, it will actually melt the paint.
Interesting.
True. I was using the deeper green one, the extra
Yeah.
thin, not green.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I'll take I'll try it next time. Thank you.
This is the one that'll melt the paint.
Yeah, the hotter one. Yeah.
And where are we? This is the one that, in my experience, actually doesn't melt the paint.
Okay.
Yeah, the extra. Yep. And then you were doing this KV2. I think you were doing this for a friend, weren't you?
Yes. So it's actually the owner of where I live right now.
Oh, well, that's good. You got to stay on
Yeah.
their good side.
Like she's a friend of mine, also like a schoolmate, and her boyfriend, who also lives here, he is my roommate, bought this little kit for her, and since none of them know how to make a model, so they gave it to me, and I spent just 2 days, a little bit more than 2 days, finish this kit. It's very fun little kit. After I finish assembling it, I give it a coat of primer, then a base coat of deep green, olive green, and then I gave it some AK chipping fluid, and then I spray another layer of lighter green, and then chip it to create some distressing effect.
Mhm.
And then I give another layer of even lighter green, and then distress it again. And then I seal it with a layer of varnish. And then I use the AK washable agent mixing with some white paint, to create the washable white camel. So I spray it on first, and then just use a wet brush to brush away any unwanted part. So it creates this old, faded winter camel. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent work, Johnny. Thank you. And oh no, I have someone else. I think that was it. That's all I got as a press time. Does anyone else have anything they want to quickly show off? Oh, Jeff's got his monster there. Okay, Jeff, you want to show off the monster? Hang on, I'm just going to turn off the screen share.
No, I can't. I mean, it's just, I don't even know where it is now. Hang on.
How do you lose that thing? It's huge.
Well, it's not that I don't know where that is. I don't know where you are. There you are. Okay.
Here I am.
It's,
I'm gonna spotlight you anyway. So
as you can see, it's sort of just, I'm working on putting the interior in. So I've taken it apart. I got the main wire in, lead in. Engine assembly is sitting over by the photography system. They're not working on it right now, and they don't need to. So, and there's the interior. Sort of set it in.
Good stuff.
Anyway,
Good stuff. All right. Does anyone else have anything else they want to show off?
Yeah, I got a decal set in the mail today.
Yeah. What do you got?
And from I'm gonna turn this light off so you don't get from Iliad. These guys are out in Ottawa,
nice.
right? Strange Hurricane, 72nd scale. I have a question for the group. So this one here has this photo recon pod on the bottom of it. And during the meeting here, I've been sort of scouring the internet looking for photo references of that photo pod. I can't find anything. Does anybody have anything, any books that would show a couple of shots of that so I can just scratch build it for a 72nd scale hurricane?
That's the first time I've seen a recon hurricane.
Yeah, me too. I'll see what I have.
I'm not even sure if it's a recon hurricane, but it does have a photo pod anyways. It's a Mark II-B with a photo pod down there. And there is some reference that shows a similar side view to this, but nothing shows an actual picture of that pod.
Right. Go ahead, Kerry.
Dave, Jim Bates of IPMS Canada is a hurricane fanatic.
Yeah.
And knows everything and anything about the hurricane. I'd be happy to contact him, or you can contact him through the IPMS Canada website.
Okay.
He's also the moderator of the IPMS Canada Facebook page.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. He does.
Yeah.
He does.
And
love
he
his,
knows
hurricanes. Yeah.
He knows he has this incredible in-depth knowledge of the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Will his email address be on the website here in some form somewhere?
Yeah, it'll be there under the executive, I believe.
Under the executive. Tell you what, Dave.
Yeah.
I will send you through PM or email what his address is. Email address.
Sure, sounds good, Kerry. That'd be great. Thanks.
And I think the producer of that decal sheet's also, correct me if I'm wrong, Kerry, he's also the one that's doing he did the design and the sheet for the IPMS Canada.
Yeah, up. So Iliad Decals is it's just one guy, Bob Migliardi. He's a graphic artist by trade, and he does all of the artwork and decal work for IPMS Canada as well.
Okay, yeah, because that's how I found this company. And then I went trolling around their website and I came across this decal sheet, and I thought, man, I'd love to do some oddball hurricanes.
Yeah, he likes to do some unique stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. Well, again, yeah, it gives you an excuse to build another hurricane, so.
Yeah, or 4. There's enough decals on there to do 5 different variants.
Gosh darn. What'd you get, 48th or 72nd?
They're all 72nd. It's got 6 different variants.
There you go. Get some of the Arma Hobby ones, you'll be all set.
Yeah, there's a captured Japanese one that they flew.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of cool. Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Very cool. Very cool.
There's lots of good little 72nd scale hurricane kits out there. So.
Well, there's absolutely a ton right now. I know Arma makes a really nice one. I've really got to get one soon. I really want to try that. I was hoping they're a company out of Poland. They just released their first 48th. I was really hoping they were going to go with the Hurricane first, but they didn't. That's fine though.
Yeah, when I saw that, Stu, I was really disappointed for you. I was like, oh, there it is. And Stu's so bummed
I know it's on their top 4 or 5 when we interviewed them. So I'm still holding hope. I'm still holding out hope. But yeah, no, that's fine.
I think they had to serve the home market first.
Definitely. And that's a nice plane on its own. And it's very, very highly regarded in those circles. So exactly. All right. Does anyone else have anything else?
I can show the 109 I'm working on.
Yes, please. Let me just spotlight you here, Chris.
I'll see if I can.
There you go.
There's probably better pictures on Facebook, but this is the Tamiya G6. Which unfortunately the light is really blowing out, but I'm just in the process of doing oil weathering on it, getting there's an asymmetrical streaking pattern that I'm trying to recreate. I've done a bunch of streaking on the wings. So that's been about a year trying to get that finished. But hopefully it'll be completion number 3 by the time the Christmas holidays roll around. So
very nice indeed. Yeah, no, I've been working on the Typhoon. I haven't got getting ready to get primer on it, the Hasegawa 148th. Wonderful kit. it's going together quite well. I appreciate everyone's advice on some of the things to watch for, and yeah, it's been going together quite well. I did want to mention there's one thing I forgot with club business. Next meeting in January, for those who are still participating, we do have the 1-year build. So last January, we invited you to submit a kit you were going to start and finish in 2020. So I know Jeff has the list. We found the list. So definitely, if you want to participate, make sure you send us some pictures, and then we just throw all the names in the hat. And David, do you have the award there? I forgot to ask you to take the award down off the wall. David's the current holder of it. But it's just, yep, there's no formal judging or anything. We just put the name in the hat because we think we consider you're a winner already because you actually got one done. There it is.
That the one with your name on it, Dave?
That's the one with his name on it right there. Yeah, yeah.
Look at that. It's got Dave's name on it.
Yeah, it's even got my name and it's got a few people's names on
Lee
it.
and Devin.
It hasn't duplicated, which is good.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it might this year when I win again. Oh, sorry, was that my outside voice? So yeah, so just a reminder, if you want to do that, and again, Jeff will send out an email with the list, and we'll post it on the Facebook page. If you don't remember what you asked to build, just reach out to one of us, and we'll be happy to remind you. Again, long as it's done by the next meeting in January. So, all right. Anything else? Any other discussion, questions? Any other gossip, news?
I received an email today that all us happy little modelers enjoy reading. It's taken 5 weeks for them to get packaged, but my undercarriage and landing gear doors for my Argus are in the Royal Post this afternoon.
Excellent.
Nice.
Now, unfortunately, he did not send them express mail, so I might be sitting on my butt for another 2 or 3 weeks, but at least they're on their way, and I get back in that big girl.
As long as it's not on a big ass container ship coming from Japan, you're fine.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be 6 months.
Yeah, well, or in the Pacific. Yeah, there was a big, world's largest container ship ran into some unexpected weather, shall we say, and dumped about 2,000 containers apparently over the side. And I know Andy from Andy's Hobby headquarters had a couple of his orders on there. He's not sure if they ended up over the side or the ship went back to Japan. So just a reminder. Yep. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got 2 questions.
Go ahead, Dave.
What happened to Jerry?
Jerry's around. He's just a busy boy. He's running a railway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he sends me money, so that's good.
And who do we, or how do we get our new membership for this year?
Well, so we're just extending it. So your card will still apply. Until we can physically meet again, we're not charging for membership.
Okay.
So yeah, we won't do new membership cards until then. The only place that offers a discount, the next time I'm in, I'll just remind him that we won't be doing a 2021 card until we meet back together.
Okay.
And so, we should say, Dave, you were talking pre-show. You've got a monster kit you've been starting to work on. You've got the, what is it, the 1/18th SBD3.
Yep.
The Dauntless Dive Bomber, 1/18th. Dave loves to build the big stuff.
What's that?
You love to build the big stuff.
Well, that's what my right hand will let me do. I can't work on the little ones.
Yeah, that's all right though. Hey, as long as you keep out of trouble. And your good wife, Mary, what's she working on these days?
Nothing right now.
Nothing right now, taking a break? Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Good stuff.
What? Her
All right.
tank's being put up for the year.
Well, hopefully, yeah, 'cause she entered it.
That Russian tank.
Yep. That was a big one too, 1/16th, if I recall.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Is there anything else before we put the formal part of the meeting to close, and then it just becomes a build night?
I got a question for Mike.
Okay.
If I were looking for a 1/72nd scale Fleet Fort, you have any idea where I might see that? I know that there's a company out in Burnaby, BC that did a vac for them.
Yeah. Now, other than troll them through eBay, Rare Plane Detective, old model kits,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So
go dig up Doug.
yeah.
Oh, bad taste there. Bad
He is
taste.
probably
It's been a year now.
Yeah, it's true. It's been a year. You might check
No,
on Scalemates.
I
You could
definitely,
also talk to Doug's son, because I know his son is going through his collection and selling stuff.
Yeah, he's been
I
posting it
have
on
no
Facebook
contact
Marketplace.
information for.
No, he's been posting it on Facebook Marketplace.
It's
all the stuff.
sporadic.
Yeah, it's very sporadic.
It is sporadic.
Okay.
But you could contact him and have him go through it if you wanted to.
It'll show up when it shows up. I got enough to keep me occupied that I don't really need it, but
Never enough.
I was just curious, did any of you guys see there was a big lot of kits that came out on Facebook Marketplace last Friday, I think it was? 200 kits.
No.
Did you see that?
Maybe I did.
I almost bought them until I talked to my wife, and then she convinced me that would be a foolish thing to do.
So that was your first mistake.
Yeah.
Your first mistake was talking to her.
Yeah. Apparently, I did contact the vendor, and I said, "Are you getting out of the hobby?" And he says, "No, he bought an abandoned storage unit, and these were all in there."
Yeah.
There was a really good, like he had a Wingnuts LVG kit. That was what got my attention. He wanted $10 each for them.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, it was about $1,000 worth. I counted out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of kits though. That's
It was well, it was going to be $2,000 all in.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I obviously missed a screen or two.
Yeah. So there were 200 kits because he had 2 listings.
Oh.
Yeah. And the second listing had a lot of weird. Whoever it was really loved Italian aircraft because there's a lot of Italian seaplanes, which I happen to really like seaplanes, and that got my attention. But I really liked. There was a Wingnuts wing. There were a couple of Trumpeter 1/32 scale. It's mint condition, never opened.
I think
$10.
someone bought it because I don't see it here anymore.
Oh, it was sold.
Yeah.
He sold the whole batch of it by Sunday.
Yeah, probably someone's bought it. You'll see it on the reseller market.
It's already up. There's already a
yeah?
bunch that are already up. If you
All
see
right.
one with an F-105 monogram, that's him.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's the guy who bought. He's
Good,
packaging it out.
Good to know. Oh yeah, speaking of wingnut wings, did you buy your Felix stool yet?
Shut up. No.
Well, Tom can't start his unless you get yours.
It's waiting.
You know, guys are evil. All I'm saying, you're evil.
I know, Peter. Just for a little bit of background, one of our members, Tom there, he got a wingnut wings. It's an absolutely huge kit of a World War One. I guess it's a float plane. Yeah, I'll put him on spotlight. He's gonna pull out what it looks like. And it seems like for a while, with poor Jeff, we keep talking him into the sci-fi stuff and all that. And then, Tom showed us this wonderful kit and Jeff's going, "Oh, that looks nice." And we said, "Well, Jeff, you should get one." All right. Yeah. I got you on spotlight, Tom, so you can go ahead and show it off.
Yeah. So this is the box.
Insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. It's a beautiful kit.
How big it is, but
yeah, it's only a couple of hundred.
Those are that's one side of the wing.
One side?
One side.
This will be one, and the other one will be out here.
See, Jeff, I think it'd be perfect for you.
I tell you, you got to put an addition on the house to house that one.
Well,
Yeah.
you say you're redoing you're going to
There's-
put up nice shelves in that. You can make big shelves.
Look at that.
Yeah, and for the record, says the guy who just held up a 3.5-foot long spaceship.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. Exactly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah. See, he gets the abuse. We have fun with it. So.
That's only 3.5 feet in one dimension.
Yeah, it's not like 3.5 feet both directions.
No, now you can build a coffee table with a glass top. A nice big square coffee table, glass top, nice little water thing, and then you drop the Felix stool right in the middle of it.
There we go.
See,
Jeff.
there's
You
an idea right there.
See
Like
how
I said,
helpful your
your
fellow club members
furniture.
are? Yep. Here, check out the decals.
This gives you size. These are at the foot. Those are the roundels.
Oh my God.
You know, the old Daisy BB gun targets were smaller than that.
Yeah. I think you better be using masks for those. You better paint your own for those. Those are so big.
Yeah, it's what's really neat is there's some absolutely ultra fine detail as well.
Yeah.
It really is a remarkable kit. It was an indulgence based on a 25-year gift I was allowed to buy for work. So
well earned, sir. Well earned.
that
And
was
yeah.
It seemed appropriate.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm also looking forward to Jeff's. You know, we can't have a meeting unless we wind you both up about that.
I know. I think that's got to have to be Tom's 1 year build for next year.
I want to know if my dad's got his hands on the. Sorry, I thought you finished.
No, sorry. What was that, Mike?
I was wondering if my dad's got his hands on the Canberra, I believe you're building next.
Yeah, the photo reconnaissance PR9. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be nice. Very, very nice.
That's
Very
great.
good. All right. Well, I'm just, Jeff, you see how helpful your club members are? I'm just saying.
You guys are a bunch of jerks. That's all I can tell you.
With friends like us.
What?
Exactly.
Me?
Us? Never. All right. Is there anything else? Otherwise, we'll stop recording and we can start using foul language again. All except for Mike. He's not allowed to swear in the
I
presence of
didn't
his
realize you were
parents.
supposed to stop. Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, he's being a good boy tonight.
I've been sick.
I know. Well, you've been sick. Yeah, well, we know that, but that's another story. And look, I didn't say a single lawyer joke tonight. Oops, damn it.
Honestly.
I know. Well, I have to fill in because, some of your former coworkers, Alf looks like he's pretty busy there. I could have him unmute and we could open up there, but
Alf always looks like he's pretty busy.
Oh, does he, by Joe's?
That has been the secret to my success, Jeff.
Oh, exactly.
Look busy.
Look busy.
I see. All right. Alf, what have you been working on? Well, I got you there.
Oh, I'm still pecking away at the Martyr 3.
Oh, very good.
This will be my 10-year build.
Your 10-year build. Yeah, we have a few of those in the club too.
Yeah.
Not to worry. I tell people the secret is pick something simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Now
this kit actually isn't that, you know what, it's actually a nice kit. It's not overly complicated. This is kind of where I'm at so far.
Right.
But yeah, just a lot of small pieces that require an awful lot of sanding, but it fits well.
Good. No, that's the secret.
It can come out right. I mean, a lot of pieces that require a lot of sanding, but it fits well.
No, but what I mean is once you they're so tiny, like they're not overly tiny, but I'm a little bit OCD-ish as well. I like to kind of work at it, but once you got them sanded, the kit fits really well. Like there's no gaps. It's all the pieces go where they're supposed to go. You know how it is, like with some kits, you put a piece in as they instruct you to do, and then the next piece sort of layers in on top of it, and it doesn't fit at all, and you have to undo it. And this one actually snaps together pretty well.
That's good.
Excellent.
I have one of those.
Yeah, go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, I also have one of that, and that was my first ever model kit that I don't finish it, like I abandoned it.
On the shelf of doom.
Because it was the first time I buy a aftermarket PE parts to give some more details, and I've never dealt with PE parts before, and I totally screwed it up. I was so mad, and I never touch it again.
Happens to the best of us. Well, I'm going to keep going around the room just because, I'm the president and I can do that. So, Greg, what do you got? Anything lately?
Up on the shelf, you'll see a Kitty Hawk's Harvard.
Oh, very nice.
Finally got that one done. We're in the midst of we just finished selling our house, so I had to clean up a lot of stuff for a while and make it not look quite so user friendly, I guess.
Yeah, I know exactly.
But finally got that one finished and just started on the Roden Stearman.
Very nice. All right, who else haven't I asked yet? Or who else wants to volunteer? Voluntold. Mr. Wilson. You gotta unmute yourself though, dude. You gotta come over, sorry. Here you go, you're live.
Yeah, I'm just working on a couple of shelf queens here. There's an old, not so old, but Peugeot 206.
Very nice.
I got several years ago for my birthday or something, probably 10 years ago. And I've got it, the suspension and sort of all together, and I just need to finish that. And then there's a Hasegawa F6 or F9, F8 Cougar that I'm working on, and an A4 from the Falklands that I'm working on. So
cool.
There's lots of little things. Trying to clean up half-started stuff.
Very cool. No, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, Jeff, what are you calling the Shelf of Doom this week?
Oh, I haven't come up with a good one.
The Shelf of
Temptable. How's
Regrets.
that?
Okay, contemptible.
Shelf of
All right.
contempt.
Shelf of contempt. Mr. Dawson, how are you tonight, sir?
I am well. I have, I got about $200 worth of detail stuff, mask kits, seats, wheels, exhausts, from Hannett's last week. I have a list that I keep a running total on a kit. Well, I'd like to add this detail, this, and I'm almost got everything I need. The one thing I've been looking for is a decent propeller set for my 72nd Commando. And, I can't remember the name of the company, but they had a 3-blade prop set, a 15-foot job that would fit my Commando. And it has the spinner on it that I want for the decal set that I have. It was a Canadian Pacific plane they used to fly supplies up to the DEW line when they were building it back in the day. And so it's a leading edge decal set with whatever resin they had in it. So I can start working on that one again. So that's my build of the year. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, you know what Hannes is. Hannes is, it's like you go in to buy one thing and it's like, oh yeah, I may as well buy a few more to get the free shipping. And then before you know it, yeah.
Yeah, I am waiting desperately for the Dora Models Mark III Lysander to come out. And I keep adding stuff to my cart that says, well, when it comes in, I'll pull the trigger on it. Well, then the cart gets so big, I'll wait for that one. I want and that's I'm on my third time of doing that.
Well done. Well done, sir. Well done. Carrie, what have you got? What have you been working on?
I've been focusing on the Tamiya Porsche GT1. I've got the engine all done.
Oh, nice.
Everything's mounted. I haven't built a car model in probably 50 years. And they're a bitch.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Nothing like encouraging others.
No, you know what? I'm actually really enjoying it. This is the Tamiya kit, and of course, Tamiya engineering is worthy of talking about. But you take a look at some of the stuff and how they have you do it, and you follow their instructions, and it does go together. Any of the problems that came up with the kit were my doing; they weren't the kit's doing. But yeah, I'm having fun with this, and tomorrow I'm going to tackle starting to paint the body, the shell. I've got things pretty well sanded down and ready to roll. My Sky Raiders over there I've got the underside painted. What I was doing tonight was just fine tuning all the the bombs that are going on the Sky Raiders. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Yeah, it's fun.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. If you're enjoying yourself, that's
Oh, yeah.
yep, that's exactly what it's all about. All right, I was going to ask Mr. Girton, but he's disappeared. So we'll ask
back.
Bill. Oh, you're back. Okay.
I was grabbing something because I knew you were coming to me pretty soon.
I was going to come to you, and then it's Bill. Both the guys with the arches.
I got a bunch of stuff going on. So, you know, we have a 3D printer at work, and I've been printing a bunch of files at work. So I got this one finally mostly assembled. I'll turn this light off again because this is the Mandalorian. This is a 3D file I found online.
Wow.
And I think it was a $30 file I bought. And then I printed it in all these pieces on a resin printer at work. It's a really cool kit. It's a very nice dynamic pose with sort of the cape blowing in the breeze and stuff. So I got it assembled at least anyways. I'll paint it at some point.
How much time did that take to print? I know it's multiple parts.
Oh,
approximately.
There's probably about 300 hours.
Okay, yeah, because there's quite a few parts there.
Yeah, so this cape was like 32-hour print, I think
Oh,
it
wow.
was, right?
Okay, all
And
right.
I did it at high resolution, so I did it at 0.2 millimeter layer height, which is a
Oh,
lot.
so it's going to slow it down, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, yeah, there's a lot of 20-hour prints in here. Yeah, 20, 40, 90. Yeah, it's got to be 200 hours anyways, maybe. 300 might be a little much, but yeah, the detail's really nice. His rifle is just very nicely detailed, right, and everything. So, and the cape has all this texture on it. And if I turn the light on, you can see how thin some portions of the cape are, right? So like, it's very thin. So it's a really nice figure, anyways. And to go along with that, I found this file online. So a couple weeks ago, episode of The Mandalorian has somebody bashing in stormtrooper heads, right? So I printed that in 1/12 scale to go with this, and I've also got a Boba Fett figure to go with my Mandalorian, so I can have that. So it's kind of fun. And little tiny spaceships. That's a little 1/1000 scale, little Star Wars freighter, Imperial freighter. It's in the same scale as the Blockade Runner from Bandai, which came out last year.
Oh yeah.
And these Bandai kits are, they're gorgeous, right? So I've been fiddling with that a little bit. And my big project right now is this science fiction kit, this Falke I'm doing.
Yeah.
They usually do these in science fiction, military type colors, right? But I thought it'd be fun to do it in golf racing colors. I had the zero paints already. So this is all painted on here. I masked and painted all the lines on this so far.
That's the machine gun Cougar?
It is, yes. Yeah. So it's turning out pretty nice. I'm almost to the point now. I'm finding, spots of fudge I'm having to clean up. There's a bit of masking and painting to do on here still. There's a spot in the bottom where it had a lot of texture from the paint, spalling up on me. So I did a bit of sanding. I have to come in here. I'm gonna do some fancy masking and do some black areas on the bottom here, just sort of make it up, right, to, hide some of that stuff and deal with it. So it's getting close. So I'm looking forward to getting it glossed up and getting some decals on it. I picked up from a place called Spot Models over in Europe. I think they're in Spain or something. They've got golf marking decals, right? So I can put all the golf markings on it. And I've got a couple of sheets of aftermarket sponsor logos, right? There's all kinds of stuff on there for all the different sponsors, STP, Valvoline, all that kind of stuff. And I've got some little science fiction stuff with little anime characters in that. So I'm gonna, maybe stick a few of those on there. And I've got some science fiction stuff from the hover bike I did some years ago. So it's got lots of little weird markings, warning markings and weird little symbols in that. So I'll load it up. It'll be pretty busy by the time it's done. Then I can gloss it like I did before GT. I did it for my year build, and polish it up so it has a real gloss finish on it. So
looking good.
That's what I'm working on.
Thank you, sir. Okay. The other man with the arch, the other man with the golden shiny arch. Bill, how are you, sir?
I am well, thank you. And yourself?
Not bad. What you been working on, pal?
I'm still working on the Academy F-16A. I'm just right now teaching myself to do oil pin washes. I was doing pin washes before that were an absolute disaster. So the plane's been repainted 3 times already. So the panel lines are getting awfully shallow. but
That's what
it
all
was
about.
going to be a test bed anyway, so I don't
Exactly.
really care.
Good.
Unfortunately, listening to all the podcasts and you guys talking, my wish list for after Christmas is getting rather long. So if any funds come my way over Christmas, I know where that's going.
Excellent. Excellent. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. And I believe last but certainly not least, Mr. Steven. He's just got to unmute himself. He's looking around. He's going, what? What? Steve, are you there? He's trying to unmute himself, I think.
This is the most exciting
Here we
TV
go.
show I've
There we
watched all
go.
week.
Oh, well, see, it's better than the normal stuff. This is what retirement's about for you, right?
Oh my God.
All right, Mr. Slater, how are you? Oh,
Golf.
no, no, we still can't hear you. I wonder if he's doing it on purpose.
If I was
He
him, I'd
said
be doing it
no.
on purpose.
I don't know. I
What's
know you
Duncan
better.
working on?
Yeah, Duncan. Sorry, yeah, I missed Duncan. Yeah, how can I miss Duncan? I do that all the time anyway.
Where is Duncan?
Yeah,
Duncan
Duncan's
who?
gone. Duncan flew the coop.
Yeah.
What's
Did
with
he
that?
really?
Yeah, he did.
Bastard.
I know.
No
You
kidding.
can't rely on it
We
anyway.
had 22 participants. We're down to 15.
I wonder why.
Here, Stuart, I'll show something.
All
Wait a
right.
second. We're down to 14.
So this is Dragon Land Wasser Schlepper.
Gesundheit.
It's an amphibious craft. It's a modified Panzer for crossing rivers. And I've come up with an idea for it because I got it at a raffle at a model show, and I was kind of always wondering what to do with it. And I came up with an idea a little while ago. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see, I've been playing with chipping on it a fair bit. And what I'm going to do is make it essentially derelict.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got a series of Russian soldiers at rest, and they're going to be essentially sitting on it. I got a few of them built now, relaxing, and then just essentially doing the laundry and cleaning up on top of it.
Cool.
And then I'm going to set it in a base. So I'm just in the process. That's the first layer of chipping. And then I'm going to do some oil washes and other weathering to try and get waterline effects on it from algae and other sort of water weathering effects on it. And then I'll try and mount it in a base and actually make my first sort of diorama for it.
Very cool.
So I'm having fun with it. The chipping was interesting. I mentioned in a post because I actually did the sort of the rust base to it. And then I actually had the hairspray. I used real hairspray from the what's his name's books. And I didn't get to it for like a month. So the hairspray sat on there, dried. I got the first layer or so of paint and I wanted to modulate the grays a little bit. So they were on there for weeks. And that's before I started the chipping. And it actually, you know, for people's interest, it still worked.
Wow.
So I was actually surprised because previously I've been all worried about setting time to do it, to try and get the layers on and get to it within a certain number of hours. But this was literally weeks in between some of the layers. And it was a little harder to get off, but it still worked. And actually, in some ways, I think it actually worked better.
Very cool. All right. Steven, any luck, my friend? No, afraid not. That's okay. No, still not working.
Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in again?
He's a computer guy. Of course he
Turn
has.
it on and off again.
Well, you know what? I see. Well, you know what? Well, you can keep trying. You do have the nicest chair of any of us, I think.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go. He's there.
Hey.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm good.
Good, good. So what you been working on, pal?
Diebold Nixdorf, unfortunately.
Oh, just work's been just keeping you busy, has it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hopefully you get some time over the holidays.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. We'll see. I see a nice stack of things behind you. So
Your tower of power.
Yeah. Yeah, I
What
may have
bike is
done.
on that?
Sorry?
Which bike do you have in the stack there?
A Triumph 3HW.
Ooh, nice.
there you go. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Well, hopefully you get some time over the holidays, my friend.
It would be nice.
Yes, yes. Is your better half coming home from out east for a bit?
Probably not.
No, just with COVID. That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, like I said, say hi to her when you talk to her next.
I will.
Chris. Okay. Well, I think since some people decided to take off, we won't name names again. We've already called them bad names, and rightly so. That's the formal part of the meeting over. So I'm just gonna thank you all. Peter, thank you again for joining us.
Welcome, enjoyed the meeting.
Good. You're always welcome. We'll let you know when the next one is. You know, and we'll make sure we send you one, that just in case Mike forgets to send you an invite or something. We got to make sure, you know. So, all right, I'm just going to stop the recording. Hang on a second, guys.